the clock, the pop 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 the clock, the clock you pop. If you add a line, it's your bank pop.
Okay, so today we're gonna look at a default setup for train. It also means having control of IV and boiler towards B. I recommend doing this by having one or two people going IV initially, one A main control, and two towards boiler and B halls. Alright, let's first have a look at how you can take control of IV. And this is quite important as T, also as CT. So this is where a few of the duels will take place. If you're two people or one, you still want to play it aggressively initially, so that the CTs won't push. For instance, with flashes. Also, if you're two taking control of IV, this is a quite good flash to throw. Especially if you have an AWP that's gonna peek also, it'll pop just at the edge. If you're playing IV on your own, then you can either take a lurking position, more passive. If you expect the CTs to be more aggressive, or you can take a position across IV in order for you to be more helpful in possibly taking the A site, because this will enable you to throw a couple of deeper smokes actually to push through IV on your own even. Now to get across, you can throw it right here.
Throwing a flashbang.
And it'll pop in front of the tunnel. Now there's two smokes that are quite useful from this position. One is from the back corner. You line up your crosshair over here, and it's a run throw. And this smoke will place itself in the middle of alley. For you to be able to push A sites with the rest of your team. Another smoke, if you want to move up in IV, perhaps surprise them, is lining up with this edge with the entrance to your far back. And it's a walk throw.
I'm throwing smoke.
Using this smoke as cover, you can push up, flash through. The other position in a default strat is then B main, where you need one guy to have control of B main. Initially,
Flashbang.
flashing and try to hold off any aggressive A pushes. Perhaps not peeking towards alley, facing an op. But if you have an op, then perhaps take the duels. Now the remaining two guys will focus on taking control of boiler, close to B, this area, and also having control of Pop Dog, because this is also a location where you perhaps want to initiate and execute either to A or to B, so it's important to have control. Also taking control of boiler also kind of forces a CT to rotate to B, so that there are at least two on B site, and not having the initial setup of a round where you have four on A site in order to negate a fast A push. One flash that is quite good to throw is from back of B halls,
Flashbang.
where you can have the second guy peek with at the same time. I recommend perhaps just a short peek into boilers and follow up with a Molotov. It's quite quite common to have an aggressive hopper. Now once you have boiler control, you have quite a few options to either have a split A push or a B push. Also though, be aware of CT's pushing up boiler, of course. An initial flash could be one
Throwing a
of these.
flashbang.
And with this default, I think you're quite set for either pushing onto A, B, where you will then have perhaps one guy rotating back from Ivy, and just keeping one guy at Ivy that will go through CT spawn instead, the other four going boiler to B. And if you're pushing the A site, then of course you can entry through B, A main, Ivy, and pop as well. You have quite a few options.
If you had a line, it's your bank pop.